Good afternoon, everyone. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. If you could all stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, is there any public comment? Okay, seeing no public comment, we'll move to 4, verification of the posting of the agenda, please.
Tara Adams for the record. The agenda was posted on the 14th day of January 2026 between the hours of 1 and 5 p.m. at the locations listed on the agenda in accordance with statutes.
Thank you, Tara. Can I get a motion for that agenda as submitted, please?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the agenda as submitted. Thank you.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. 6A, consideration and possible action, approval of the minutes of the meeting held on December 4th, 2025.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to find that the staff shortage in the clerk treasurer's office have caused delays to completion of the minutes and to approve the minutes of the meeting held on December the 4th, 2025 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Our first appointment, 7A, consideration and possible action, update of current activities, plans, or actions related to the Bureau of Land Management, Carson City District. And the floor is all yours whenever you guys are ready.
Mark Mazza, Assistant Field Manager, BLM.
Zach Reichold, Stillwater Field Manager, BLM. Okay, so this is going to be a pretty brief update, and then I think we had some discussions about potentially moving to a less frequent update, so we'll continue those discussions, I can imagine. Sand Canyon Road realignment, BLM, obviously there's not a whole lot to update on this. At this time, I think that the county is still discussing the road maintenance agreement with the Navy and coming to some of the, those decisions on that and how that's going to move forward so that they can submit the SF-299 for the right-of-way for that road realignment. Once that's done, we can start working more with the contractor to complete the NEPA on that, and once the design of the road is done, and I think that we're all kind of keeping regular communication about that. BLM and BOR are preparing the lands for the 2907 conveyances. We've identified the top 2 priorities and are still working with the third one, as we discussed in our previous meeting. The new grazing permits were sent out. They haven't been signed by the permittee. They're still in negotiations with the Navy to figure out the compensation on that. We've been in discussion with the permittees and maintain communication with them to find out how that's going to move forward with those grazing permits. We do have a scheduled meeting or the Navy has a scheduled meeting with the permittees for the B-17 and B-20 range expansion projects. They're going to meet with them, I believe, I don't believe, it's going to be on February 9th, and that's going to be, I think, mediated or not mediated, but I think that's going through the Nevada Department of Agriculture is going to help facilitate that conversation. Next slide. Section 2908, we just got done reviewing the MOU for the 2908 plan, and the district manager reviewed it, I believe it was yesterday, so we should be able to send that over to you for your review and your comments. You have it? Okay. All right. So we'll just wait for that, and then hopefully we can get that turned around and sent back, signed and sent back to you. BLM, Route 361, Federal Highways and NDOT, there's no real update on that. The GABS lateral pipeline relocation, there's really nothing to update on that one as well.
Okay, regarding our prescribed grazing project, so that's still ongoing. There's a weekly monitoring where they're measuring how much cheatgrass is being consumed, and then also the amount of utilization on the perennial species, and that helps determine when the rotations occur and when we're hauling water to other spots on that ranch. The last day that this project is authorized for 2026 is February 28th. And we're hoping that this is going to be a good model for other places in the state to adopt to address like wildfire concerns and do similar projects in Nevada. This is a big update. The record of decision got signed on December 22nd for the sage grouse amendment. That was an amendment that they had worked on. There had been scoping meetings and different public engagement meetings that had gone on and had been updated in this Churchill County for a few different presentations. There were 6 different alternatives analyzed in that EIS. A preliminary look, some things that I thought might be interesting to the board here are this model that emphasizes these local area working groups so that there could be some shared stewardship and habitat restoration projects for those that want to get involved. There's also some Nevada-specific best management practices for grazing that has built-in drought responses. So when we have a drought, things that we can initiate to help accommodate livestock grazing and get through those scenarios for the few years that we have limited forage and different aspects related to bird management in there as well. And the record of decision is available here on this link, and there's a lot in there, so if there's more specific questions that you all have after looking through it, we can bring down the lead for this project and we can probably answer those after you take a look. Regarding the Wild Horse and Burro program, currently we're planning for the 2026 census flights so that we can update these numbers here for Churchill County specific herds. The Lahontan herd management area, that EA that we signed a few months ago, is in an appeal status. We're working through that appeal with the Office of the Solicitor right now. Our next gather priority is this one in Washoe County called the North Complex. So there's 3 herd management areas in there: Flanagan, Dogskin Mountain, and Granite Peak. And we're expecting next month to issue some scoping letters out for that. We also have an adoption event on February 21st for 20 saddle-trained wild horses and burros in Carson City at the Northern Nevada Correctional Center. Okay, regarding geothermal projects, so we're doing our ongoing discussions with the NAS Fallon and the proponent and U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. We have that baselines requirements document that we've provided over there. We haven't been able to schedule a meeting the last few months, but we have a few on the books coming up, so hopefully we can get some better updates regarding that project there in Dixie Meadows. Our other geothermal project that's at the EA level right now is in Lyon County, and that project is trying to determine some roads access issues of the Forest Service before it can go on to the next step.
No real update for the minerals projects on this slide, other than Cosmos Sagittarius exploration. We continue to move that forward. They're in exploration right now, and hopefully they will be able to move into exploration or past exploration and maybe get into production in the near future. We're still looking over, waiting for them to submit a mine plan of operation. They've submitted it, we've reviewed it, and that's going to go back to the proponent. And then we can move forward with the environmental analysis on that. Edwards Creek, War Canyon, there's no movement on that. And renewal applications for are being processed. There's no real update on that either. Next slide. Greenlink North, there's no update on the Greenlink North. Really.
Any questions?
Okay, thank you guys. Any questions or comments from board or staff?
Chris Ross for the record. Thank you, Mr. Chair. No question, just a comment. As you've heard with this update from Mark and Zach, several of these items had little or no update to them. It has been brought to me by a couple of members of the commission that maybe it would be best suited, instead of having these meetings every month, that we do these meetings every quarter, with kind of a caveat from both sides that if the BLM has something that needs to be brought to the board's attention, that they contact us and ask to be put on the agenda, and vice versa. If there's something that we feel that we need to be informed on, that we can contact BLM and see if they can come in and be put on the agenda for an update.
So I wanted to put that in front of the board. I've talked to both Mark and Zach, and they're amenable to that, so it really comes down to whether the board is interested in just moving that to a quarterly update. Thank you.
That sounds good to me. Do you guys have any opposition to that?
I have no opposition to that at all.
I don't either. I think,
Then the only other thing I would add is, it is January. We've had a meeting, so maybe that this update be scheduled for January, April, July, and October, kind of the first month of each quarter. That way we're all kind of the understanding, and then Pam and Tara and Linda know as far as the schedule for it.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you, guys. 7B, consideration and possible action, application for community support funding for the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 8071, in the amount of $750 to support the VFW for the Vietnam Veterans Benefit Event on March 29th, 2026. And it'll be that bottom button on that microphone.
Thank you for having me. My name is Stuart Cook. I'm a Vietnam combat veteran. I was on riverboats 70-71. President Trump, on his last term, or not his first term, he declared March 29th as National Vietnam War Veterans Day. March 29th was the last day we had troops in Vietnam, basically. But the majority were all gone that day, so that was the end of it. Last year, 3 weeks before March 29th, I decided we needed to do something. And I put together a ceremony, and we held it behind the Fallon courthouse in the little garden there. And it was unbelievable. We had bagpipers, we had taps, we had guns. I mean, we were able to get a lot done in 3 weeks. This year I have a committee, and we want to do a lot more. In fact, we are losing right now 500 Vietnam vets a day in the United States. And you all know when Vietnam vets came back from Vietnam, we were spit on, we were called every name in the book. It was just a miserable time in this country's history. And this is, I'm trying to, like, in Fallon, we had 8 veterans that were killed in the line of duty over there in Vietnam. And their names are on the wall back behind the courthouse. So what I'm here for is to try and get some money to help us out. We want to do bigger and better this year. We've talked to the Army. I think they're going to do a flyover with helicopters, because that was a big thing for us in Vietnam. When we got in trouble, we'd call in helos, gunships, or dust off to take our wounded and that. So pretty much that's, I'm just trying to do a better, bigger job this year. And we're doing a lot more promoting to let people know. And we're just, like I say, we're doing a lot. And hopefully, another thing, after this is all over with, we want to work with putting together a class that we can go to the schools and teach a little history on the Vietnam War. We would also like to get Vietnam vets to come in, and we do a video of them, and they tell their experiences over there, so we can put that aside and, help with the history. So I'm hoping I can kind of talk the museum into helping us there. So you have a copy of my budget, and really anything you could do to help us would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your presentation, and thank you for your service as well.
Thank you very much.
Any questions or comments from board or
I
staff?
guess I should.
If not, I'll entertain a motion. Any public comment? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
First, Mr. Cook, I'd like to thank you for your service along with all the Vietnam veterans. And I would move to approve funding in the amount of $750 to support the VFW for Vietnam Veterans event on March 29th, 2026.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second this motion.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Thank you for your time.
very much.
We'll grab a picture with you real quick. Okay, we'll jump to 7C, update on the FRTC complex, FRTC modernization, National Defense Authorization Act. Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Zach, you kind of stole a little bit of my thunder here when it came to his update, but I'll just add a little bit more detail. So this is kind of an update of where we stand with the FRTC modernization, where we stand with the checkerboard resolution and some of the direct conveyance. I don't think that's showing the entire. Is there a way we can? So I'll start out with, thank you. Perfect. I'll start out with the ranges. I'll start with B16 first. That's the lower left-hand corner. B16 is the range over by Lone Tree and Sand Canyon. The grazing permit situation has still not been finalized. There's been an offer, a counter offer, but there's been no acceptance on either side, and so they are still working through that. Sand Canyon Road relocation. As Zach had mentioned, we received an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, for us to outline all the conditions of what's required for Sand Canyon Road in terms of who's responsible for what. The biggest sticking point has been the maintenance and the liability of Sand Canyon Road. As everyone knows, existing Sand Canyon Road is a minor county road, which means the county cannot do any maintenance to that. However, for us to get the right-of-way from BLM, we have to accept maintenance and liability, and we were not willing to do that. So we've been working together with the Navy. We have a solution forward that grants a right-of-way to both us and the Navy, and the Navy has accepted the maintenance and liability of that road, and we are going to be including a, I don't want to call it a road maintenance agreement. We will be attaching to the MOU the necessary requirements that the county does when they do maintenance on the road, so that it kind of outlines for the Navy what we would expect as far as maintenance, preventative maintenance, washout maintenance, that sort of thing. So we're working through that. Lone Tree Road, we're a lot further ahead with that. I think at the last meeting or the meeting before, you approved the contract with Loomis and Associates to do the design. They will also be doing the inspection during construction. The proposal that we received from them is within the budget that was proposed as part of the local partnership agreement. There's a little bit more expense in the design, but a little bit less during the construction. But overall, it's about $70,000 less than what was budgeted. So, so we're well on our way with starting a kickoff meeting here very soon. The other issue that has come up has been the fencing. I'm sure you as commissioners have received phone calls with regarding to fencing and the gates. The fencing is underway, and the gate to the existing Sand Canyon has been installed. The Navy has agreed to keep that gate open. However, The bollards that support that gate are well within the right-of-way of Churchill County for that road. We feel that that potentially could be a safety issue. So we're working with the Navy. We actually have a meeting on site at the end of this month to see what can be done to make that safer. Moving on to B17, that's the lower right-hand corner. That's over there by Gabbs, the Gabbs Highway. The Navy's going through private land acquisition right now. I believe a few months ago, and correct me if I'm wrong, Miles, the BLM sent out the grazing letters, the 2-year grazing letters to all the people that have grazing permits out there. That's kind of the start of the countdown to get these negotiations finalized for the payout of the grazing permits. In some of the IEC, the Intergovernmental Executive Committee meetings, there have been a few people that have shown up that have mining payments due. Again, similar to grazing, there are people that have mining claims out there. The Navy said that they will honor those mining claims and make payments on those mining claims, but there's still some discussion as to the value that each one has. So there's some negotiation going on there. The big one on 17 is the relocation of State Route 361. Right now, the Gabbs Highway actually goes through the expansion of B16, and so that needs to be relocated. I think NDOT has been working on that for well over a year. They have put several options forward, and then, of course, ran costs and constructability analysis on all those options. And I believe they have finally come to one alignment that they want to use. But it's, at this point now, it still has to go through the design and then obviously the construction. And I believe it's 13 or 17 miles. It's a pretty good chunk of highway that has to be relocated. And there's fencing over there too, but obviously they haven't started anything there. And finally, the B20, that's the upper right-hand corner. That's the Pole Line Road area. There's 62,000 acres of land acquisition, private land that the Navy has to procure. Again, there's also grazing permits there. There's been no start of the clock for those grazing permits up there, to my knowledge. Same thing with the mining payments. I don't think anybody has started those negotiations with. But again, this has got a pretty big impact to the county as far as Pole Line Road relocation. The reason our negotiations for Sand Canyon have been as intensive as they have been is this kind of sets the foundation of what's going to have to be done on Pole Line Road as well. So we wanted to make sure that it was the agreement was satisfactory to the Navy, was satisfactory to the county, and so it just took a little longer, and we're hoping that this kind of paints the agreement for Pole Line Road and we don't have as many hiccups on that one as we've had in the past. Next slide, please. I don't know why I put that in there. Basically, I talked about all that, so we can, next slide, please. This is kind of the schedule of the FRTC, the 3 different ranges. As you can see, this was done in first quarter, which was October to December, because the federal government has, again, another fiscal year different than ours. And if you go down to B16, you could see that the grazing permit appraisals and the payment process should have been done by now, but it has not been. It's ongoing. We're right in the middle of the mining claims payments. Lone Tree NEPA and planning is underway. Based on the schedule that we received from Loomis as part of their application, the completion date that they anticipate still falls within the end of that third quarter as outlined on that schedule. We're a little behind with Sand Canyon. I know that NEPA has been started, but they have been very limited to what they've been able to do because the alignment for Sand Canyon has not been identified yet. Unlike Lone Tree, where we're basically replacing what's there, this is a little bit more complicated because the alignment has not been has not been determined. So they're kind of waiting for us to come up with a design so that they can complete their NEPA. B17, you can see grazing permits have started. And again, that was, I believe, the start with the sending the letters out. The private land acquisition, we really don't have much to do with that, but according to them is well underway. Same thing with the mining claim payments. And as you can see, as far as State Route 361, you can see how long that has been in design, and therefore it looks like they're anticipating starting construction on that first quarter in 27. So that actually would be October of this year. I don't know if they're there, but I don't want to speak out of turn. As far as B20, that one is quite a ways out there. Again, grazing permit hasn't started. It looks like they have been working with some mining claims. Pole Line Road, the NEPA, none of that has started yet either. I think all of us want to get a good understanding of what we're doing in terms of agreements and design and so on and so forth. So that one is a ways out. And as you can see, the construction of Pole Line Road is not anticipated to be done until third quarter of fiscal year 29. And so there is a little bit of time there. And again, going back to 17 State Route 361, that construction is supposed to be done at the end of second quarter of 29. So they have a bit of time, but it's quite a project. It's quite an undertaking. Next slide, please. The reason I wanted to put this slide on here, this is an excerpt from the meeting of the Intergovernmental Executive Committee. There has been some misunderstanding with regards to whether or not the property, the expanded property on B16 is accessible by the public. The NDAA is very clear that the road is accessible until the new Sand Canyon Road is complete, but there was always concern about whether or not people could get off that road and still utilize that area. If you look at the second bullet point underneath B16, it's very clear that the fence installation has started. However, the expanded B16 remains open to the public at this time. One of the things the county is doing is we are taking a map of that B16, which shows where the new Sand Canyon will be, and we're going to make kind of an educational poster board to put out there so people can see that this is where the new Sand Canyon is. We will make sure they understand that the land is still open to them for their use, to try to mitigate some of that confusion that's out there. I won't spend too much time on the checkerboard or the land acquisition. Zach had already mentioned that we received a memorandum of understanding between us and DOI, BLM, BOR. Basically, it outlines the responsibilities that we all have moving forward in identifying checkerboard, how we're moving forward with discussions with private landowners. We just received that on Friday, so Wade and myself and Joe will go through it, make sure there nothing jumps out at us, and then once we have that executed, then we can really begin the discussions on that checkerboard resolution. And then kind of the same thing with the land conveyances. We identified 4 top priorities. We're working on 2 of them right now. Again, that is also tied to that memorandum of understanding. So once we have that executed here in short order, we will be able to move forward with that. I would like to note that we did receive the memorandum of agreement for Sand Canyon Road. This is similar to what we had with Lone Tree. If you remember, there's 4 entities involved in this. There's the Navy, FHWA, NDOT, and us. This agreement is between us and the Navy, and then we have the local partnership agreement between us and NDOT, which is really where our funding will come from in terms of payment. We're going through that right now, and we'll have that executed within short order. And with that, I would be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions or comments from board or staff? I do have one thing, maybe just for the sake of clarity, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but each range, once everything is met on that range, that's when it gets closed off. That includes grazing payments, mining payments, etc.
That is 100% correct. Not just, okay, we have a new road, now we can close this off. As part of the bill and as part of law, every item in each one of those ranges has to be met before that range can be closed off and go operational. Now, B16 can be 100% done and B17 just started. They can use B16, but each individual range, all those have to be taken care of before they are closed off.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Does anyone want to pull any of the letters received? Okay, if not, we'll jump to new business. 9A, consideration of possible action, adoption of resolution 1-2026, authorizing the clerk treasurer to sell property held in trust because of unpaid taxes, directing publication of the notice to the tax sale as provided in statutes and other matters properly related thereto. Linda?
Good afternoon, members of the board. This is my annual tax sale list. Every year, we try to do it approximately in April. This one we've moved to May. We have approximately 18 parcels. Of that, there are 9 home parcels that are on this list. We work diligently. I have staff in my office that will contact all the parties that are within each of these parcels that try to get them to pay, find some way to get this off. We will beat this list down before the tax sale. There's approximately 4 months. They have up to 3 days before the sale to pay 100% of all the taxes, all the fees, all the penalties, so on and so forth, whatever's owing at that time. So that's given them about 4 months. I've provided not only the list, but a resolution, and I'm looking for board approval. If you have any questions, I am certainly here for that.
Thank you, Linda. Any questions or comments from board or staff? Is there any public comment? If not, a motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adopt the resolution 1-2026, authorizing the sale of property held in trust by the Churchill County Clerk Treasurer for unpaid taxes and directing publication of the notice of tax sale as provided in RS 3615953A.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Linda. 9B, consideration of possible action, adoption of Resolution 2-2026, a resolution establishing the travel expenses and subsistence allowance for Churchill County effective January 1st, 2026, noting the new mileage rate of 72.5 cents per mile and the per diem rate of $68 per day. Sherry?
Thank you. The IRS published a new mileage rate as of January 1st, 2026. They do this annually typically, and it's up 2.5 cents from last year's rate, and I'm just asking you to approve this is what we'll use to reimburse our employees that use their vehicles for business. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Any questions or comments from board or staff? Is there any public comment? If not, a motion, please.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve Resolution 2-2026, establishing the travel expense and subsistence allowance for Churchill County effective January 1st, 2026, noting the new mileage rate of 72.5 cents per mile and per diem rate of $68 per day.
Mr. Chairman, second the motion.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. 9C, consideration of possible action, reappointment of Bob Ghetto, Tom Riggins, and Alan Call to serve another term as a regular members on the Board of Equalization through December 31st, 2029. Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chris Ross for the record. So the Churchill County Board of Equalization has the authority and is directed to determine the valuation of any property assessed by the county assessor. Based upon such determination, the Board of Equalization may change the correct valuation found to be incorrect, as it is necessary to make it conform to the taxable value of the property assessed. The board is comprised of 5 members and one alternate appointed by the Board of County Commissioners, and they serve 4-year terms. Bob Ghetto, Tom Riggins, and Alan Calt are regular members whose terms expired on December 31st, 2025. All of these members have expressed a desire to continue serving for another 4-year term. All of these members have an understanding of the duties and responsibilities of that board. Staff recommends their reappointment to the Board of Equalization. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions or comments from board or staff? Seeing as Bob Ghetto is my uncle, I'll be abstaining from voting. And with any public comment, with that, a motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to reappoint Bob Ghetto, Tom Riggins, and Alan Call as regular members of the Board of Equalization through December 31st, 2029.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 And I will be abstaining. So we'll jump to 9D, consideration of possible action, approval of the fleet services vehicle replacement policy. Joe?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Joe Sanford for the record. The Fleet Service Department has been recently implemented. It controls and ensures all of our vehicles are maintained. They've helped prepare a fleet services vehicle replacement policy. It's designed to ensure strategic planning and facilitating budgeting for the replacement of vehicles for all of the departments in the county, including the sheriff, JPO, all of our passenger vehicles and things like that. The intention being to ensure we prioritize those vehicles that are either safety related or sensitive, and then can transfer those on to less sensitive positions as they go along. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Joe. Any questions or comments from board or staff? Any?
Yeah, I have a comment.
Go ahead.
I was going to say something.
Sorry.
On the replacement policy, I would like for us to consider on the patrol vehicle, that we define that just a little bit more to make sure that patrol vehicle is considered a police package ready vehicle. That way there's no confusion of what vehicle that is going to be bought for patrol. And that's a vital asset to that vehicle and to that department, to make sure that we don't have a lot more maintenance trouble than a regular vehicle, is where I'm coming from, because of the use and the type of use. So I'd like for us to consider that we define that a little bit more.
Okay, go ahead, Sheriff.
Thank you, and thank you, Commissioner Blakey, for that request, because that was one of the ones we were going to make. I did speak with Gary about this, and he had some ideas that kind of differed from ours as far as rotation of vehicles. And so I just wanted on the record that the agreement between Gary and I are that we will have a say in it, that we can sit down with them. They'll propose to us the vehicles that are due to be out, and then we can talk about the usage of and different type of vehicles coming in, so that it's not just dictated by a person who maybe doesn't necessarily know the needs of our agency. We had a very good conversation on it, good understanding on it, but I just wanted it kind of on the record that the departments would have at least a say in what type of vehicle they feel is most appropriate for their agency, and it's not just blind purchased, bought for them.
Okay.
Okay, thank
I
you.
agree with everything stated.
Yep. And I think when we make that motion, we'll just include as discussed in this meeting, and they can look at the minutes if they need to. With that, is there any other questions or comments? Any public comment? If not, a motion, please.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the Fleet Services Vehicle Replacement Policy as presented and discussed in this meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. 9E, consideration and possible action, approval of the immediate recruitment for an associate planner or senior planner to address a planned retirement. Joe and/or Randy.
I'll go ahead and get started here, Mr. Chair. This is Joe Sanford for the record. As you may be aware, our planning department is made up of two persons. Unfortunately, one of them has already left in December, and we have a planned retirement of our senior planner at the end of March, which will leave 0 planners. And so based on that, the county is requesting that we go out and immediately start recruiting for a associate or senior planner at this time, so that we can have that person on board, preferably with some level of overlap with our current senior planner, to ensure that hopefully that information can be passed. Now, that is going to be a difficult position to recruit. There is no guarantee that we will have that person on board by that time, and so Randy has already talked to us about options on how we're going to handle that if somebody isn't on board by that time, but that is what is being asked for today. Like I said, there are 2 positions. They are both going to be empty around the end of March, and one is already empty now.
Anything you want to add, Randy? No?
No, I'm just here to answer any questions you guys have, so.
Okay, any questions or comments from board or staff?
I'd like to have another suggestion. The planning department is critical to our future of the county, and I don't want to restrict this department anymore than we have to. We currently have 2 positions that's in the budget right now. It's a planning tech and a senior planner. I'd like to, if we can, consider changing the motion to where it includes all 3 of those positions, a planning tech, a senior planner, and a planner, I guess, associate planner, and to where we're going to fill 2 of those positions only fill 2, but recruit for 3, and hopefully we get 2, to where it gives him as many options as possible to get really full staffed again. So that's my recommendation on this item.
Okay, go ahead, Chris.
I have a question for the board based on that motion. So if the county can't find a senior planner, but there are 2 associate planners that would want to come to work, is this board authorizing to be able to hire both of those associate planners, or are you looking to either fill senior and associate and then separately a planning tech? 'Cause I would just like to make sure that the planning department has the flexibility to hire what they think they need.
Can I add in on that? Yeah, so, I don't know if my mic's. You know, we've had discussions as far as, you know, I think I've been here almost 2 years now. We've had a senior planner and a planning tech. We feel that, you know, it'd be beneficial for the county, for our department to have 2 planners, right? Whether that's 2 associate planners with the opportunity to grow into a senior planner, or have a senior planner and another planner. We can take care of the tech part of that with, you know, I think Diane's pretty much that tech, that planning tech position, and her position's the same pay grade as that. It would just be more of a benefit for us to have 2 planners with as much work that does come through the department. So, and again, mind you that we've done a lot of work with just our senior planner, because we didn't have a planning tech for quite a while after Savannah left. So there's a lot of work that goes to that department.
Any other questions or comments?
Can you define the difference between a senior planner and an associate planner?
You know, it's probably just experience, right? There's a senior planner they have their degree, a planning degree, and then they have the experience. The associate planner, they're probably, you know, have their planning degree, kind of fresh out of college, gaining their experience. And then the planning tech doesn't really have the credentials to have a degree. They're kind of more that tech position, so.
All right, thank you.
And I think I can just add too, looking back to the salaries, a senior planner and a planning tech are within $1,000 or so of 2 associate planners, if you were to look at it as salary. So if we did find 2 associate planners, then that would be similar to what we pay today. So it wouldn't really be that much of an increase in salary and benefits.
What if you find a senior and an associate?
Starting, it's about $11,000. No, hold on. It's $17,000 with benefits at grade 1. At mid-grade, it's about $18,000 increase.
$18,000 above your current budget if you hired a senior and an associate.
That is correct. Well, yes, but Dean's maxed out, so it would actually be a decrease because he's maxed out. So I was just taking starting pay, a grade level 1 and a grade level 7.
I understand.
Any other questions?
And there is, I mean, like your department has return on it. It's not a dead expense department, so you do bring in revenue.
That is
to
true.
help
Correct.
To alleviate the increase if it was
Correct.
an increase.
And we're actually, and you guys know we have a workshop for our fee schedule in a couple weeks, so that's, to help address this issue.
I just think this is a vital, important department that we need to make sure we don't hold back on to get it situated so he can move forward. Mr. Hines already has a full plate every day already, so he can't, I mean, he will, but he already has his own stuff, so. We can make that motion to where it says the immediate recruitment of planning tech, associate planner, and a senior planner, and it can be 2 associates, or if necessary. Is that how it needs to be worded, you think?
Yeah, probably either 2 associates or an associate and a senior planner, is I think how you'd want to phrase that. Go ahead and make a motion.
Okay. Is there any other questions? Are you good? I'll make a motion that we authorize the immediate recruitment of planning tech, associate planner, and a senior planner, hiring 2 positions of the 3. Also, if 2 associate planners are qualified, and that's what we find, we approve that as well, or an associate and senior planner. Did that cover it all?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Thanks, Randy. Consent items, does anyone want to pull anything off the consent agenda? If not, a motion to approve that, please.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Mr. Chairman, second motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Does anyone have anything they want to consider for a future agenda item? Okay, we'll move to commissioner and management, or staff management reports. We'll start with you, Commissioner Hyde.
I had the opportunity to tour the base expansion on B16. It gave me a lot better understanding of what they're trying to do. It was very eye-opening with the weapons that we have, and to continue to provide the best training in the world for our Navy SEALs is very important. So it was very worthwhile, very interesting. The knowledge of Swanee on every piece of equipment they have was absolutely amazing. So I'm extremely grateful I had the opportunity to go check that out.
Okay, I had an RTC meeting this morning and then just trying to get back in the jive of things after vacation. So Commissioner Blakey,
Welcome back.
thanks.
I attended Assembly Bill 211 training and receivership. That's very informative for private industry. Went to the New Frontier Treatment Center's open house and ribbon cutting. That's definitely a great facility for our community. Lieutenant Governor was there, Assemblyman Koenig was there, and Mayor Teffer was there. Attended a wildland fire training or update meeting for this area. And I guess the most valuable thing I learned there was we have cameras on top of Fairview Peak, and you can access them. I had no idea. So, and fire board meeting, chamber lunch, CETA board meeting, and a museum meeting. That's it.
Okay,
Thank you.
Sherry,
We're just working on the 2027 budget.
Wade,
Nothing from me, thanks.
Chris,
I too attended the wildfire update through the Cattlemen's Association RTC meeting this morning, and I attended the Navy tour with Commissioner Hyde, and I will echo what Commissioner Hyde said. It was very informative, and it really does open your eyes as to why the expansion is needed and the purpose for it. Thank you.
thank you. Joe?
I'll just mention that Chris and I have been having budget meetings with the individual departments and folks who want to come and meet with us about that. And so we'll have more information to come as the budget moves forward. And that's all I have.
Linda?
Office is busy, obviously collecting property taxes, and then delinquent property taxes we're handling in a different way. We send out notifications, and then also a lot of those parcels are part of the tax sale list, which they are doing the due process on that. We have primary election that we've been working on it. The judicial candidate filing closed on Friday, and then we're starting our mail ballot process.
Pam?
I just wanted to let you all know that I have distributed the Jim Regan Memorial Scholarship applications. So that is open now. They will be due to me by April 3rd, which is a Friday, the first Friday in April. That is open to casual county employees or dependents of county employees. It's not open to regular county employees because they have the education reimbursement part of our code. So those are open now. So if you want to share that with anyone, please do so. And then I do just need to have clarification from you two about the Nevada Works Board. There's some confusion about what we did at the last meeting, so I'd like to talk about that after the meeting.
Okay. Tara? Tasha? Denise?
We have a Board of Equalization training next week. Thank you for reappointing the very qualified members. Currently, we have 2 appeals, unsecured property and a residential mixed-use property.
Sheriff? Nothing? Ann?
I'm happy to say I'm now sharing my cavernous end of the office with our new IT professional, Ken Hankey. Second day today.
Awesome. Okay, with that, claims and payroll are going around. At this time, is there any public comment? Noting no public comment, we stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.